Hello Helixers, my name is Bill Lawrence and I'm going to show you how I create patches which are useful for me as a singer to use the expression pedal to go from my rhythm to my lead levels and sounds. And I do this because as a singer I hate having to look down, kind of squinting down below the mic or past the mic to my feet to see which snapshot or which patch I'm trying to select. This allows me to avoid that and to have also the ability to have the gradients in between the clean low-level rhythm or distorted low-level rhythm and the loud lead sound. So even if I'm accompanying a singer or playing jazz or playing some other form where I don't care about a microphone and I'm just standing there playing, it's still really useful to have those in-between sounds, and it's really quick to rip out a louder line in the middle of comping, and to have sort of different amounts of gain as you're playing. And I'll show you what I mean as we go through this. First, I'm going to show you how I set up the patch. This is going to seem complicated, so please bear with me. Some of you guys who've been using Helix a long time, you'll get it quickly, but if you haven't, might seem a little complicated, but I'll try to explain it clearly. Okay, signal comes in over here on the left. I hope you can all see the mouse pointer. I've got an EQ there, but don't worry about that. Then I have a compressor. Then here's my wah-wah, which is on expression 2. We don't have to worry about that right now. Here is a Y block. And what this does, it splits the signal. So the signal is going to this path, top one here, and then down to the bottom path all the time. We'll get back to this. Here's an amp block without a cab. This happens to be the divided by 13 or the divided duo. And that's what I'm using for my rhythm sounds. I do not put the cab up here because if I have an amp and a cab on both of these, it's a little much for the processor. And I have other reasons too, which I'll get into later. After the amp, which by the way, I control the sound of this amp per snapshot. So if I want a clean sound, snapshot that has a clean rhythm, I set it and store it in the snapshot. And do not control any of the parameters in my amps with the expression pedal, not with this method. The next comes to, this is a volume block, which, let's see, I'm going to switch patches so this is clear. Here we go. This volume block works like this. When the pedal is heeled down, in other words, all the way back, what would normally be 0 volume on a volume pedal, this is set in reverse. So heel back is 100%. And that would be the position for my rhythm sound. And that means that the signal is going through this and passing unchanged from here through to this mix block. When I'm in rhythm mode with the back, this lower path volume block is at 0%. When I push it forward, this top one goes to 0 and the bottom one goes to 100. So at all times the signal is hitting the amps, but here with these volume blocks I control how much of the signal moves through to the output. So let's move down to the bottom block some more here. I've got a distortion here. I think it's a Timmy, which I use on some of the patches in front of the amp. And this is the Wagner Shiva, which I happen to love for its nice tubey distortion sound. This is probably my favorite patch of all here that I'm showing you guys too. And these are my two favorite amps for these purposes, general purposes, I would say. And I use this for light gain and up to full gain, but not for the super clean stuff. Anyway, here it's hitting this. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to these other two volume blocks a little later. First, I'm going to show you how I use the cabinets, and I do the same method. It comes out of here, goes down to here, and then right here I have another of these Y splits. Again, the signal passes all the time to both paths. And I use the same kind of volume blocks here as I have on this upper processor. Again, back is 100 and forward is 0. This is the rhythm cabinet. And down here on my lead level cabinet, I use two different cabs here. One is the Shiva Wagner 1x12 lead 80, and which I'm not using on this particular snapshot. And here is an IR. It's one of those free Allure IRs that Line 6 shares with us. It's the high watt. And I like this for both the clean lead and for a slight breakup lead. I like it a little better than the Wagner, so I keep this on this particular snapshot. Then I also have another compressor here and another of these volume blocks, the same as the one in this top path for the lead. And then I insert a delay in this rhythm path and a delay in the lead path, and I have these the amount is controlled by the snapshot, and I use two of these because I want to have less delay on the top the rhythm path than I have on the lead path, so I just have them always in there. And then they merge up again, and here is another delay which I can kick on if I want to have extra delay. And then finally, I've got this reverb, which I think stays the same for everything. It's just kind of like a little sheen on the end. I designate each snapshot and the sounds by numbers. So the first number is the rhythm, and I designate sounds by a 0 being, let's say, clean as can be, and 9 being as dirty as can be. In this case, my rhythm sound is a 1, which is pretty clean, and my lead sound is a 1. This is snapshot number 1. And snapshot number 2, 1 clean, and a 3 level of distortion for the rhythm. I'll just show you what I mean by that. I'm going to play first the rhythm and then the lead sound here. Then next, I've got a 1 rhythm, which is clean, and then a 5 level of lead. And I'm using the Timmy on this, and I'll often write in a designation to show the character of a particular sound. Like in this case, the Timmy has its own kind of distortion sound, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's the rhythm again, same rhythm. Here's the Timmy. Then 1/7 clean rhythm, and what I call a tubey distortion. And this is no distortion pedal, it's just the amp distortion. The next 1 rhythm and a 7 with the high watt cab. In this case, this Wagner cab will be shut off and this high watt comes on. I'll show you what I mean. Bam, there you go. There's the high watt. It's got a kind of more of a brighter flavor to it. Then here, there's a 3 rhythm. That means that the rhythm is a little bit dirty and the lead is pretty dirty with a tubey sound. I'll show you what I mean here. That's the lead. Here's the rhythm. And we move up from there to a 4 rhythm, which is a little dirtier than the last one, with a Timmy for the lead, a 5 distortion. That sounds like this. Let's see. Rhythm, lead. And let's see, finally, this is my ballsiest snapshot on this patch. 5 rhythm and a 8 level lead. Now I'm going to show you a little wrinkle. Oh, by the way, you can set these up any way you like. I find these to be the most useful. I use a lot of clean rhythm, and then but I don't always want to have a really killer lead sound. Sometimes I want just a little breakup in the lead. That's why I have these gradients going up from a clean to a little dirty to more dirty to really dirty. But I use clean more often than for my kind of music. I use clean more often for rhythm than lead, so I have a lot more of these patches that have a clean rhythm, or snapshots rather, that have clean rhythm, and fewer with dirty. But you can set it up any way you like depending on the music you play, or you can set up your individual patches, like if you have a rock patch, for instance, you may have just maybe 1 or 2 clean rhythms and most of them distorted rhythms. That's cool too. Now I'm going to go back to this one. This is the one little wrinkle in this, which I have to do with this particular amp and cabinet, because in this case, the Bogner doesn't have what I consider a great clean sound. And so I'm going to show you how I worked around that. I stay on the divided by 13 for the entire snapshot, both the rhythm and the lead. And the way I do that is by bypassing this volume block that I use on all the other snapshots. I just have that turned off on snapshot 1. And I have another volume block here that goes from, well, I think it probably goes from 0 to like 10, plus 10, or somewhere around there. That's probably about the amount of increase that I use. And so the signal, by turning this one off, that means the signal's always passing up here. And then I added a block down here that's basically it's always at minus 120. So that block stops the signal from this path completely. And then it gets down here, and these two paths are unchanged. They're not the same as the top processor paths. Here it goes rhythm through this cabinet and lead through this cabinet. And again, I like the high watt for my clean sound. I'll just show you how this works. I'll just play a little bit so you hear it. Here's my rhythm. And there's the lead. I think that covers pretty much everything in here, except I'd like to give you a quick demo of how this works using the gradients in between the full rhythm low level and the full lead sound. So here's the rhythm level, and I'm gradually pushing the pedal forward. That's full lead. Now I'm backing it down again. So when you're playing along, you can use this. Like if I'm playing something like where the rhythm is, And then I get to a section where I want a little dirt on it. Another thing is, if I'm throwing a lead line in, let's say I'm working with a song, and it's way quicker to just push the pedal forward. I dare you to do that with snapshots. You'd be concentrating more on your foot than anything else. So when I'm singing or when I'm playing, my foot just kind of stays on the expression pedal probably. Well, when I'm singing, it's, at least 75% of the time it's on there because I'm in one place. But if I'm not singing, if I'm just playing along with somebody or playing with a band or something, I've got it right there in front of me. I can change really fast. And you can also jump to another snapshot if you want a little more gain. I mean, you can be on one lead and then hit another snapshot and bam, you got another lead level or rhythm level or whatever. So it's very versatile in that respect. Anyway, I hope this is helpful to anyone who is a singer. If you're a singer and you're not doing it like this, you're giving yourself a headache. That's all I can say. And if you're a player, it could still be very useful for you. And this could apply also to someone. I'm sure these same principles could be applied to an Axe 8 or a regular Axe FX, or maybe not a Kemper, which is kind of why I didn't get one, because I can't do this stuff. Anyway, I'll wrap up here and just say this patch will be available on, Custom Tone under my name, Bill Lorentzen, Lorentzen. And this patch is called Divided Bogner. I think I've got one up there for the Dr. Z. And you can stick any amps you want into these. You could take this one and use it as a template and put any amp you want in there. Just study it a little bit so you know how it works, and it should work for you. If you've got, just with the one main expression pedal. If you want a wah-wah, you're going to need another one. But anyway, I hope this is useful for you. Check it out. Bye.